Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Damn skeleton mage. One day, I will kill you. In the barren desert, Sikong Jun stood in his territory, roaring angrily at the undead army outside. His troops, the Dark Phoenix, possessed the bloodline of the Hell Phoenix. Among all the Apex-level troops, they were extremely powerful. Originally, he thought that with the gradually expanding Dark Phoenix Legion, he could catch up to Lin Yu's footsteps. But now, he was stuck against a king-level skeleton mage. After being attacked last night, he became extremely cautious tonight. First, he dispatched a portion of the Dark Phoenix as scouts. The remaining Dark Phoenix hunted undead creatures near the territory. As soon as the king-level skeleton mage appeared, he immediately ordered the Dark Phoenix Legion to retreat to the territory, not giving it a chance to take advantage. But infuriatingly, the king-level skeleton mage had no sense of honor. Not only did it use special magic to hide its own magical fluctuations, but it also infiltrated the center of the battlefield and instantly killed a group of Dark Phoenix. Although Sikong Jun reacted quickly, he immediately ordered the Dark Phoenix Legion to retreat to the territory. But more than a dozen Dark Phoenix were taken by the king-level skeleton mage. The king-level skeleton mage waved its bone staff, and the dead Dark Phoenix all turned into large skeletal giant birds, faithfully guarding the king-level skeleton mage. This made Sikong Jun furious. Young overlord from another world. The king-level skeleton mage grinned silently. At this moment, it stood on the head of a skeletal phoenix, overlooking Sikong Jun in the territory. In just one day, the number of Dark Phoenix in your territory has increased significantly. I can tell that you are a diligent and ambitious child. I really admire you. Get lost. Sikong Jun was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He cursed loudly at the king-level skeleton mage. This despicable king-level skeleton mage not only took away more than a dozen of his Dark Phoenix, but also deliberately mocked him afterwards. It was truly despicable. Most importantly, the king-level skeleton mage had targeted him. It appeared every night to take advantage of him. In the past 2 nights, he had lost a total of 20 Dark Phoenix. He hadn't lost that many even during daytime hunts. And with this king-level skeleton mage around, he dared not send the Dark Phoenix Legion out to hunt undead monsters anymore. Not only did he suffer heavy losses, but it also affected his nighttime hunting progress. How could he not be angry? At this moment, the king-level skeleton mage shook its mental power and said to Sikong Jun, "If you give me half of your Dark Phoenix, I won't bother you anymore." Sikong Jun burst into laughter. "You think I'm an idiot, you skeleton?" The king-level skeleton mage said, "Young man, pay attention to your manners and cultivation. Get lost." Sikong Jun roared, almost spitting out his lungs. The king-level skeleton mage shook its head, seemingly very disappointed. Then, it waved its bone staff and flew away with a group of skeletal phoenixes, leaving behind a sentence, "I'll come back tomorrow." Sikong Jun was instantly furious. However, he didn't fall for the skeleton mage's trick. He could tell with his A****. The skeleton wouldn't really leave. It must still be hiding in the dark. As long as he dared to send the Dark Phoenix Legion out with a lucky mentality, the skeleton would definitely jump out again to take advantage. Damn it! Why am I so unlucky to encounter such a despicable local king-level powerhouse? Sikong Jun's head was splitting with a headache. When he opened the island chat channel, his head hurt even more. It's Lin Yu again. A one-time sale of thousands of pieces of equipment, earning a full bowl of money. The gold coins obtained could probably summon thousands of angels directly. Sikong Jun glanced at the hundreds of Dark Phoenixes hiding in his territory and inexplicably felt very miserable. He had always aimed to surpass Lin Yu. However, now the gap between them was growing wider and wider. Whether it was the scale of their troops or their own levels, he was far behind Lin Yu. After a day of hunting, his level was still at the late stage of level 4. This was because breaking through to a higher realm required a lot of experience, several times more than advancing from the early stage of level 4 to the late stage. He had planned to break through during the night hunt. However, that king-level skeleton mage refused to let him go. Lin Yu's level is probably already at level 7. Sikong Jun sighed heavily, feeling very troubled. Hall of the Overlord. Lin Yu stored 2 sheets of faintly golden blueprints in the warehouse. These were 2 low-level equipment forging blueprints that could be used to unlock the permission to forge low-level equipment in the blacksmith workshop. His blacksmith workshop had long been unlocked. Now he only needed to obtain a middle-level equipment forging blueprint to directly forge level 4 to level 6 middle-level equipment. So, these 2 blueprints were of no use to him. He planned to put them away for now and auction them off when the time was right, thinking that he could fetch a high price for them. It was already late at night. All the legions in the territory had already gone out to hunt undead creatures. As of now, Lin Yu's level had also reached the late stage of level 8, and he believed that tonight he would be able to directly advance to level 9. There was one thing that Sikong Jun didn't know. That was, Lin Yu's territory had also encountered a king-level enemy, and it was a skeleton king at the late stage of king level, with a threat level higher than that of the surnamed skeleton. It's just that Skeleton King Ryan had bad luck. Not only did he fail to hinder Lin Yu's territory's progress, he was killed by Lin Yu's angels instead. It was a case of dying before achieving victory. Gladys gave me a surprise. I didn't expect that after just one day of hunting, her level would already advance to the Transcendent Realm, becoming the first unit in my territory to advance to Transcendent. When they first met, even Lin Yu was startled. He never expected fallen angel Gladys to advance so quickly. He only found out later. The reason Gladys was able to enter the Transcendent Realm was that she devoured the double-headed demon tribe. All 13,000 double-headed demons in the tribe were turned into dry corpses by her. The immense power of their blood forged Gladys' path to transcendence. There are rewards for killing enemies with primal force, and devouring the power of blood can also accelerate growth. No wonder Gladys' advancement speed is so fierce. At the same time, Lin Yu had even higher expectations for Gladys. He hoped that she would advance to the saint rank as soon as possible, to master the power of the domain. At that time, he would have more confidence in defeating the giant kingdom. Lin Yu then arrived in the northeast area of his territory. Artisan Angel Coral was still diligently crafting the City of Angels, and her assistant, the Dark Elf, had increased from over 400 to over 1,300, all born from the Dark Elf Mother Tree. A day had passed. The foundation of the City of Angels had already been laid. It was extremely vast, spanning 8,000 meters. The sense of shock was even stronger when observed up close. However, Lin Yu didn't disturb Artisan Angel Coral and turned to the spirit field. Within the spirit field, a radiant sphere was suspended. Vaguely, one could see an extremely seductive figure inside the sphere, the Dark Elf Doris. A pale golden light sphere hovers in mid-air. Occasionally, brilliant light bursts out, like a steady breath. Lin Yu stands quietly on the side, silently watching the seductive figure within the light sphere. Before he arrived, the Dark Elf Doris had already used up all 7 unit evolution blueprints. Now she is wrapped in the light sphere, evolving to a higher level. Lin Yu has great confidence in Doris. The reason is that Doris's growth potential is only at the peak of the saint rank. The lower the growth potential, the higher the chance of successful evolution. Previously, Elena, who had the peak demigod growth potential, was promoted to the level of 6-winged seeker angel with a few low-level, exclusive unit evolution blueprints, and her growth potential reached the true god level. Lin Yu believes that Doris will also succeed. Time quickly passes. 2 hours have passed in the blink of an eye. However, the light sphere remains unchanged. This makes Lin Yu feel puzzled and mutters to himself, "Strange, why hasn't there been any movement after such a long time?" When Elena evolved into a 6-winged seeker angel, it took less than an hour. He is puzzled why Doris needs more time. Could there have been an accident during the evolution? Lin Yu is slightly worried in his heart, hoping that Doris is safe. Doris is a seductive and alluring dark elf. She is obedient and talented, learning everything very quickly. Her body is also flexible. There is basically no posture that can hold her back. So, Lin Yu hasn't left her side. While paying attention to the changes in the light sphere, he opens the island trading platform to check. After nearly 3 hours, the over 1,000 pieces of equipment he listed have all been sold, including those supreme-grade equipment in the auction, which have also been snapped up by others. There are also some blueprints that have been bought by certain overlord professionals. For example, fence blueprints, warehouse blueprints. He takes another look at his personal information panel. The number in the gold reserve column makes Lin Yu gasp. His pupils also instantly dilate. If you look closely, you will find that his originally black and white pupils seem to be tinged with a golden light. This is really getting rich overnight. Lin Yu exclaims in shock. He has worked so hard for so many days, but all the gold he has accumulated doesn't add up to this number, simply because it is a 6-digit number. To be more precise, it is 369,481 gold coins. This number is enough to drive any overlord professional, or even a combat professional, crazy. Even Lin Yu himself is stunned for a moment. Nearly 1,200 pieces of equipment. On average, each piece of equipment sold for about 330 gold coins. That's about right. Of course, this is not important. What's important is that with nearly 370,000 gold coins, I can summon a fully equipped Angel Legion with 13 units. 13 small Angel Legions, totaling over 6,600 angels. With this wave of summoning, Lin Yu's Angel Legion will directly reach a scale of 10,000. This is a very terrifying thing. Lin Yu takes another deep breath, suppressing the shock in his heart, and mutters to himself, "After developing for so many days, my Angel Legion only has a little over 3,000 angels. With this wave of equipment sales, I can immediately summon over 6,600 angels, making the total size of the angel army reach over 10,000. In the world of novels, this is a direct collapse of combat power. Readers will abandon the book." After the shock, Lin Yu smiles again. The scope is still too small. When I conquer this floating island, I will control all the major regions' gold mines and resources. At that time, not to mention summoning 6,000 angels in a day. It's not impossible to summon 60 million angels in a day. With this thought, Lin Yu's mood quickly calms down. Just at this moment, the light sphere he has been watching suddenly trembles. The movement is very slight, but Lin Yu still catches it. He immediately closes his personal information panel, closely watching the evolving light sphere floating in midair. The tremor just now was not an illusion, because soon, the light sphere trembles again. Then, the frequency of tremors increases. Gradually, small cracks appear on the surface of the light sphere, spreading like a spider web, covering the entire sphere. "It's coming out," accompanied by Lin Yu's slightly excited voice. Endless light bursts out from the cracks on the surface of the light sphere. The scene is just like in a certain advertisement, starting with an egg, hatching an ancient divine beast. Suddenly, a loud bang. The light sphere explodes, and golden starlight fills the sky, brilliant and dazzling. Squinting his eyes, Lin Yu quickly locks onto a curvaceous figure amidst the golden light. In the next moment, his expression froze. The person was still the same person, but there was something different, because behind that figure, a pair of wings had unexpectedly appeared. At first, Lin Yu thought he was seeing things, but after looking carefully, he realized that those were indeed a pair of wings. However, those wings did not physically exist. They seemed to be formed by condensed magic. They appeared as a faint golden color, semi-transparent. In terms of shape, they resembled butterfly wings. Occasionally, golden light would flow on the surface of the wings, giving off a very dreamlike feeling. What's going on? Lin Yu felt astonished. He didn't understand why Doris had evolved a pair of wings. Bloodline evolution alone was enough to increase her level and growth potential. What did it mean for a pair of wings to suddenly appear? Although he had limited knowledge, he knew that neither dark elves nor nature elves had wings. As for whether elemental elves had wings, he couldn't be sure. Could it be that Doris's evolution this time turned her into an elemental elf? Upon careful consideration, it didn't seem impossible. After all, they were all elves. As the golden light scattered in the sky, Doris stepped on the void and walked towards Lin Yu. The semi-transparent wings on her back made her appear even more seductive and beautiful. The faint golden radiance overflowing from her also added a touch of nobility to her temperament. She quickened her pace and hurriedly approached Lin Yu. Finally, she came to a stop in front of Lin Yu, her expression filled with excitement as she knelt down. "My lord, I succeeded." Doris's emotions were running high, her voice trembling. Lin Yu nodded slightly, motioning for Doris to rise, and then reached out to touch the pair of wings behind her. However, he ended up touching nothing. The wings seemed to be physically present, but they couldn't be touched. "What's the deal with these wings of yours?" Lin Yu curiously asked. Doris excitedly explained, reporting to the Lord of Holy Light, "During the process of my evolution, I unexpectedly revived the ancient great elf bloodline within me, thus giving birth to these wings of laws." The wings of laws are the symbol of the ancient great elves. They can help the ancient great elves easily comprehend the power of laws in the world, allowing them to ascend to the rank of demigod, or even become eternal true gods. "So you mean..." Lin Yu looked at the increasingly beautiful Doris. "You are no longer a dark elf, but an ancient great elf?" "Yes, my lord." Doris's delicate cheeks were filled with an excited expression. The ancient great elves do not belong to any faction. They are the origin of all elf bloodlines. However, as time passed, the bloodline became diluted, and the ancient great elves have long disappeared from this world. With my current identity as an ancient great elf, whether it's returning to our dark elf tribe's empire or going to the elf garden located in this forest, I will receive the highest level of hospitality. However, all of this means nothing to me." Doris looked at Lin Yu with bright eyes. "Serving you is the thing I most want to do." Lin Yu smiled and nodded. He liked this statement. At the same time, he opened Doris's information panel to take a look. Ancient Great Elf E. Doris. Level: Transcendent Late Stage. Growth Potential: Lower True God. Introduction: The chieftain of the Dark Elf tribe, an ancient great elf with revived bloodline, possessing extremely high growth potential and a noble status among the elf race. A unit worth cultivating. "Doris, you've surprised me," Lin Yu exclaimed in surprise. He originally thought that after Doris successfully evolved, her growth potential would at most break through the saint rank and enter the demigod stage. But he didn't expect her to revive the bloodline of the ancient great elves. Her growth potential had directly reached the level of a true god. With her current state, she could already rival a six-winged angel. In addition, her level had also skyrocketed. Before the evolution, Doris was at the king level late stage. After the evolution, she broke through to the transcendent late stage, achieving a major breakthrough. Looking at the entire territory, Doris now had the highest level. Apart from her, there was only fallen angel Gladys, who had just stepped into the transcendent realm. Doris didn't dare to take credit and quickly said respectfully, "All my achievements are thanks to your favor, the great Lord of Holy Light. Without you, I would still be just a small dark elf." Lin Yu grinned. He liked this kind of praise. "Let's go. Accompany me back to the territory." His words paused for a moment, and then he said, "Tonight, you don't need to participate in the battle against the undead. I will help you consolidate your transcendent realm." "Okay, my lord." Doris's elven ears quickly turned red. She responded to Lin Yu like a soft chant. Underneath her semi-transparent black veil dress, her seductive and charming body trembled slightly, but she walked lightly, following behind Lin Yu. Returning to the territory, the first thing Lin Yu did was summon angels. "It's starting." Lin Yu glanced at the long string of numbers on the personal information panel. He took a deep breath. Then he communicated with Myriad World's floating island and activated the summoning black hole. This time, he was summoning a fully equipped small-scale angel legion consisting of 13 units, totaling 6,643 angels, with a total cost of 364,000 gold coins. This was the largest summoning Lin Yu had conducted since he arrived on the floating island. The news spread, enough to shake the entire floating island. After all, it was 13 legions. Of course, this wouldn't be the last time. As Lin Yu's territory's power continued to expand wildly, the number of gold coins he harvested every day would increase, and it was possible that this summoning record would soon be broken. Standing by Lin Yu's side was the dark elf wearing a black gauze dress. Oh no, it was ancient great elf Doris, quietly observing the summoning of darkness in midair, just like Lin Yu. It could be seen that her eyes were no longer dark red, but rather gem-like emerald green. This represented a change in her identity. Doris was very curious about what was behind the black hole. And not just her, Lin Yu was also very curious. However, Lin Yu could roughly guess that behind the summoning black hole should be the headquarters of the angel race. There were endless angels. Lin Yu felt that if he could transmigrate through the black hole and enter the angel race's headquarters, then perhaps he could abandon the gold coins as a summoning medium. Without needing gold coins, he could possess a terrifyingly large angel army. He could even breed angels on his own. Because in the angel race, there was a unit building called the Angel Reincarnation Pool that could directly breed angels. There was no need to think about it. There must be quite a few angel reincarnation pools in the headquarters. As long as he could control the angel race's headquarters, not only would his territory's influence skyrocket, but he would also have a constant stream of newborn angels. To put it bluntly, his current achievements and the angel legion under his command, compared to the angel race's headquarters, they probably didn't even count as a single hair. As long as he entered the headquarters, he could soar to the sky and become a true supreme creator. That level of prestige would instantly rise. In no time at all, dense clusters of starlight appeared in the black hole. Lin Yu didn't look for the dark red starlight because there were simply too many starlights, making his eyes dazzled. He just needed to wait quietly for a moment, and the results would naturally come out. Soon, fully armed tall figures, accompanied by a torrential holy radiance, emerged from the black hole. These figures were all incredibly beautiful and holy. The appearance of angels was flawless. In this aspect, no other race could surpass angels, not even elves. In the blink of an eye, the Hall of the Overlord was filled with angels. The angels summoned first had to leave the Hall of the Overlord to make room for the angels behind them. Every time this happened, Lin Yu would feel that his territory level was too low, resulting in the space in the Hall of the Overlord being very cramped, unable to accommodate the summoned angels. But in reality, his Hall of the Overlord was quite spacious. After all, it was already a high-level village. It is not a problem to accommodate hundreds of angels at once. The main reason is that there are too many angels summoned by Lin Yu this time, with over 6,000 in total, which naturally makes the hall appear small. The summoning is still ongoing. 3 minutes have passed, but angels continue to emerge from the black hole. Occasionally, there are 6-winged angels with extremely powerful aura, as well as 4-winged grand angels wielding divine staffs. Finally, after another 2 or 3 minutes, all the angels have been summoned, and the black hole has disappeared as expected. At this moment, in the Hall of the Overlord, over 100 angels have gathered. Leading them are 13 6-winged angels. Behind them stand a total of 134 winged angels. Further back, outside the Hall of the Overlord, there are over 6,000 2-winged angels fully armed, each wielding a sword of golden flames. They are arranged in a neat formation with identical appearances. They possess astonishing momentum, powerful fighting spirit, and an unparalleled fanaticism. They give off a feeling that even if a true god were to descend, they would dare to charge forward and strike a few blows. Inside the hall, 13 6-winged angels stand at the forefront. Under their leadership, all the 4-winged angels and 2-winged angels bow in reverence and fanaticism towards Lin Yu. Over 6,000 angels praise the benevolence, love, and the Supreme Lord of Holy Light in unison. The scene is extremely shocking. Doris, standing behind Lin Yu, feels her delicate cheeks stiffen. As the legendary ancient great elf, she is qualified to overlook all living beings in this world. But it seems that all does not include angels. In front of the angels, she feels the need to be cautious and humble. Otherwise, she might be torn to pieces by the large group of six-winged angels. It seems that the ancient great elf is not that impressive. These six-winged angels summoned by the Lord are comparable to the ancient great elf. Thinking of this, Doris immediately suppresses her inner pride. Lin Yu does not pay attention to the constantly wandering thoughts of Doris. His gaze falls on the 13 six-winged angels. Among them, 7 are six-winged angels of strength. 3 are six-winged seeker angels wielding divine staffs. 2 wear exquisite crowns. They are six-winged dominion angels. This time, there are no special angels summoned, but Lin Yu is not disappointed either. Special angels only have a chance to appear. Whether they can be summoned depends entirely on his luck. Lin Yu feels that his luck is not bad this time, because the 13th six-winged angel to appear is a six-winged fallen angel. Just like Gladys, she wears blood-red battle armor, wields a blood-dripping divine sword, stands at a height of 7 meters, and has 3 pairs of ink-black enormous wings on her back. She is like a goddess of war in blood armor, looking down upon all the orthodox angels in the hall. Her expression is cold, her pupils blood-red. She exudes an extremely evil aura. It is the power from hell, causing the nearby six-winged angels to also avoid her and keep their distance. However, when her gaze falls on Lin Yu, her cold eyes instantly soften. Her gaze becomes reverent. Her expression also reveals a kind of fanaticism. The fallen angel disdains the 18-winged grand archangel who rules over the angel race. They are only loyal to the supreme creator of the angel race. Before the supreme creator returned, they were led by the 18-winged fallen archangel. Lin Yu summoned the fallen angel. "What is your name?" Lin Yu asked. "I humbly report to the almighty creator." The fallen angel, holding the hilt of the blood-dripping divine sword with one hand and kneeling before Lin Yu with the tip of the sword grounded, answered with utmost respect, "My name is Sylvia, your loyal servant." Angels, considering themselves as servants of the almighty creator. Whether they are holy angels or fallen angels, it is the same. "Very well, Sylvia." Lin Yu nodded with a smile and said, "I believe your arrival will make my territory stronger. I also believe that the fallen angel's sword in your hand will become a nightmare in the hearts of our enemies. Praise be to you, great creator. Sylvia will serve you faithfully until eternity." The voice of the fallen angel, Sylvia, trembled slightly as she bowed deeply to Lin Yu. It was the most exciting thing for the fallen angels to receive the favor of the creator. They were willing to become a sharp sword in the hands of the creator, to slay all enemies who blaspheme against the creator. For this, they were willing to pay any price, including their lives. "Very good." Lin Yu smiled and nodded, saying to the fallen angel, "Sylvia, you should cooperate well with Gladys and work together for progress. I will obey your divine decree." The fallen angel, Sylvia, respectfully complied. Then, under Lin Yu's signal, she respectfully exited the hall of the Overlord. Wherever she passed by, all the holy angels made way for her. Of course, the holy angels were not afraid of the fallen angel. Rather, they were afraid of the demonic power emanating from the fallen angel. The beautiful and holy angels were worried that their own souls would be tainted by the demonic power and be forced to become evil fallen beings. But Sylvia didn't care. She walked straight out of the hall of the Overlord. After coming outside, she spread her 3 pairs of massive black wings behind her. The wings were as long as 10 meters, surpassing her height. The visual impact was extremely strong. Then, with a light flutter of her wings, Sylvia soared into the sky. In the blink of an eye, she arrived on the battlefield outside the territory. She descended from the sky and landed heavily on the ground. With a loud bang, the shockwave rolled, and the terrifying power of the underworld swept through. Instantly, all the undead creatures within a radius of 200 meters had their bodies shattered. Even their soul flames disintegrated and turned into pure soul power, devoured by the fallen angel's sword in her hand. This is a perfect slaughter of the world. A satisfied expression appeared on Sylvia's exquisite and beautiful face, but she immediately expressed regret. Unfortunately, the status of these creatures is too low. Just then, a blood shadow suddenly flew from the distant horizon and quickly descended from the sky. Sylvia, Gladys. The two fallen angels met and embraced each other in the next second, just like intimate comrades in arms. After the embrace, Gladys casually swung her sword, cutting a group of undead creatures that were approaching into two, and asked, "Is there anything happening in the divine domain?" "No." Sylvia shook her head and said, "With the favor of the Creator, even if those grand archangels hate us, they can only let our army leave the underworld." "That's good news." Gladys breathed a sigh of relief and asked again, "When will His Majesty descend?" "I don't know, but His Majesty is preparing something. The power of that thing can allow us fallen angels to descend into this world on a large scale," Sylvia said. "Great." Gladys couldn't help but exclaim. Looking at the groups of holy angels descending onto the floating island, she couldn't help but feel a bit envious. At this moment, Sylvia said, "When I left the territory, I saw someone building the City of Angels?" "Yes." Gladys nodded and said, "That's an artisan angel summoned by the Creator, named Coral. In about 9 days, the City of Angels will be completed." "Heh." Sylvia sneered and said, "The City of Angels from the Holy Camp is already outdated. Our fallen angels' hell battleship is the most powerful war weapon. When our engineers descend, when we build the hell battleship for the Creator will surely pay more attention to our fallen angel clan." Hearing this, Gladys also showed a hint of longing. Afterwards, there was no further communication. The two fallen angels glanced at each other and then separately attacked the undead creatures in other areas. Another fallen one has descended. In a distant battlefield area, Angel of Retribution A. Caroline looked at the two huge blood shadows that disappeared in an instant, her expression serious. Compared to other holy angels, she was more wary and hostile towards the fallen angels. Because she is the Angel of Retribution, she detests evil. She really dislikes these fallen ones from hell. However, the will of the Lord of Holy Light is not something that a small six-winged angel like her can change. So, she can only calm her restlessness by killing the undead creatures on the battlefield. A flash of holy light. Caroline rushed into the area with the densest concentration of undead creatures. Evil, filthy undead creatures. She raised the angelic sword in her hand, which was wide and thick like a shield, and shouted, "Who allowed you to appear here and defile the territory of the Lord of Holy Light? Accept the judgment of the divine power." In an instant, dazzling light gushed out from the huge angelic sword. The holy light poured down, dispelling the darkness. At the same time, behind Angel of Retribution A. Caroline, there appeared an illusory figure with 12 wings, which was none other than a 12-winged angel. The 12-winged angel's illusion was nearly 20 meters tall. Just like Caroline, it raised the angelic sword in its hand. Then it fiercely slashed down towards the ground in front of it. With a loud bang, the earth trembled and holy light splattered. A dazzling light instantly enveloped an area of 500 meters in diameter. The scene was like a miniature nuclear explosion, terrifying to the extreme. And when everything calmed down, not a single undead creature could be seen in this area, as they had all turned into ashes. One move killed thousands of undead creatures. This was Angel of Retribution E. Caroline's ultimate move, the Judgment of the Holy Angel. After using this powerful move, Caroline's delicate cheeks were a bit pale, as her magical power had been severely depleted. However, her mood was much better. No longer blocked or restless. And a few hundred meters away, a group of higher-level undead creatures who had survived by chance, such as skeleton overlords, boss-level ghouls, and the leader of the decaying zombies, saw this exaggerated scene. They were instantly scared and ran away. They didn't dare to approach this angel of retribution with severe, violent tendencies. Hall of the Overlord. Lin Yu summoned the two six-winged Dominion angels again and named them Isa and Bella. Thank you, my lord, for giving us names. Both of the six-winged Dominion angels were extremely excited and considered it an honor. At the same time, the other 7 six-winged angels of strength, 3 six-winged seeker angels, and a total of 134 winged angels in the hall were all eagerly looking at Lin Yu, hoping to receive names from him. Seeing this, Lin Yu's heart twitched. It was indeed difficult for him to give names to so many angels. Lin Yu solemnly said, "You must strive and reach higher levels. Someday in the future, if you can make significant contributions to my territory, I will personally bestow upon you the glory you deserve. Before that, you can choose a name for yourselves. Praise you, Lord of Holy Light, who is kind and loving." All the angels were excited. In no time, they came up with their own names. To them, the name itself was not important. What mattered was the favor from the Lord of Holy Light. They secretly vowed to work hard, grow, and contribute to the territory. By then, the Lord of Holy Light would pay more attention to and favor them. "Go now," Lin Yu said to the group of six-winged angels before him. "Lead your legions and participate in the wars outside the territory. After the wars are over, go to the spirit field for cultivation." "Yes, Lord of Holy Light." The six-winged angels respectfully obeyed. Soon, the 13 angel legions soared into the sky, thousands of divine angels with their snow-white wings heading towards the battlefield outside the territory. If nothing unexpected happened, their participation in the war would bring catastrophic destruction to the undead creatures in this area. Even transcendent-level undead creatures would turn into dust. As of now, I already have 19 small-scale angel legions under my command. According to the summoning ratio plan of the floating island, for every 10 small-scale angel legions, 1 medium-scale angel legion can be formed, and an 8-winged angel can be summoned at the same time. After tonight, when I have 20 small-scale angel legions, I can summon 2 8-winged angels. Lin Yu was increasingly looking forward to the upgrade of the territory level. When the territory became a town, the summoning privilege for 8-winged angels would be unlocked. Then, Lin Yu checked his personal information. Lin Yu. Occupation. Overlord. Level 8 late stage. Glory points, 4,600. Reputation points, 20,500. Territory. High-level village, unnamed. Exclusive unit. Angel, unique. Gold coins owned, 5,481. Now, with nearly 10,000 angels and the various legions of the territory hunting outside, I estimate that I will break through to level 9 tonight. Level 9 is the highest level of the ordinary stage. Beyond level 9 is the king level. Looking at the entire floating island, king-level professionals can be considered strong. Those apex-level overlords on the island haven't even reached level 5 yet, but I'm about to reach level 9. Even if Lin Yu did nothing now, even if he recalled all the legions under his command and stopped hunting day and night, those apex-level overlords would need about 1 or 2 weeks to catch up to his level, which showed that he had left the overlords far behind. Although overlords don't need to participate in battles, level is still very important. After all, if you can't level up, how can you become a god in the future? Speaking to himself, Lin Yu looked at his glory points and reputation points. Reputation points currently had little use. Although according to the floating island, the higher the reputation points, the more it can attract the allegiance of local intelligent creatures. But so far, Lin Yu had not encountered any native creatures actively joining him. The native creatures in the territory were all brought over by the angels using their faith magic. For now, the greatest use of reputation points is still to establish a kingdom. To establish a kingdom, a minimum of 100,000 reputation points is required. Besides reputation points, I now have 4,600 glory points. Furthermore, once I gather 5,000 glory points, I will be able to directly exchange them for the divine weapon E Curse of the Lich King. However, a person cannot be without pursuits. In the glory items menu, Curse of the Lich King is one of the cheapest divine weapons. There are also many more powerful and expensive divine weapons. There are even exclusive divine weapons for the holy and light camps. My current goal is to obtain them. Gather enough glory points and obtain them all at once. Lin Yu opened the glory contribution ranking. On the list, there were now 3 individuals. Ranking first was naturally Lin Yu, with an unchallenged 4,900 glory points. The list displays the total amount of glory points obtained, including the ones currently possessed and the ones already used. Ranking second was a newly emerged overlord, named Xia Qingyue, with 600 glory points, and her territory is named Dragon's Nest. As for the village chief Fenghuang Sikong Jun, he dropped to 3rd place on the list with 400 glory points. Xia Qingyue. It seems she is the leader of Midsummer Night. Her territory is called Dragon's Nest. Then, it is highly likely that Xia Qingyue's troops are the same as the ones rumored in the island's chat channel, the Frost Dragons. Pure-blooded dragons are apex-level predators in the middle-low-level planes. The bloodline level is extremely high. I believe that if I use the blood and bones of a pure-blooded dragon to feed the black-bone bloodvine, its growth potential can be raised to the saint rank. With enough feeding, it is not impossible to reach demigod. With this, Lin Yu completely remembered the name Xia Qingyue. Closed the glory contribution ranking. Lin Yu took Doris's delicate hand and went to the 2nd floor. The matters regarding the territory were mostly settled, and he needed to consolidate the newly promoted transcendent realm of this sexy and charming ancient great elf. They arrived at the 2nd floor bedroom. The semi-transparent black gauze long skirt on the ancient great elf instantly disappeared. Then, the 2 of them entered the bathroom together. This was a necessary procedure to consolidate their realm. Under the cover of the night, outside the territory, within a radius of 10,000 meters, it was all a battlefield. An angel army of nearly 10,000 in scale. Apex-level troops, dark elves, in the thousands. There was also a miscellaneous army composed of goblins, forest trolls, gnomes, and gray dwarves. They were all scattered in this area. At this moment, Lin Yu's territory army had already engaged in a full-scale war with the undead army. Intense battle scenes were everywhere. And at every moment, a massive number of undead creatures were being killed by Lin Yu's territory army. At a glance, there were corpses within the 10,000 meters. But the scene was not terrifying, because in every area of the battlefield, there were the holy figures of the angels. Their wings emitted dazzling light, dispelling all darkness and fear. Even the miscellaneous army of the territory charged towards the undead creatures. Their morale was high, their fighting spirit soaring. They were like a suicide squad, daring to fight against demigods. At any moment, golden light could be seen falling from the void onto the territory's troops, enveloping them. That was the vision of promotion. As the war continued and countless undead creatures were killed, the troops under Lin Yu's command were also promoted to higher levels, becoming even more powerful. On the 2nd floor of the Hall of the Overlord, Lin Yu fought more and more fiercely. Because just now, when he was exploring the elven forest, a surging primal energy suddenly appeared in his body, violently strengthening his physique. The magic power within him also increased crazily. When the energy subsided and the pain dissipated, his level also reached level 9. Level advancement represented a stronger physical quality and more formidable combat power. Under normal circumstances, he would never be the first to retreat. The reason why it was said, under normal circumstances, was because his opponent was an ancient great elf at the transcendent late stage, with a level that was not inferior to him in terms of physical quality and endurance. Even after reaching level 9, he still needed to give it his all. Only then was it possible to completely conquer his opponent. Looking around, the 2 embraced on the bed. Just at this moment, a pair of butterfly-shaped wings emitting a faint golden light slowly extended from behind Doris, enveloping both Lin Yu and her. The war instantly entered a state of intense heat, but it was unlikely that this battle would end easily before the moon set. The next day, not long after the morning exercise, six-winged seeker angel Elena walked into the bedroom with a carefully prepared breakfast. Her eyebrows trembled slightly. She smelled a strange scent lingering in the air. But she didn't look sideways and directly placed the breakfast on the table opposite the big bed. Then she obediently served Lin Yu for bathing and grooming. Throughout the process, she never looked at the ancient Great Spirit Doris who was curled up in the bed, sound asleep. Lin Yu showed no signs of embarrassment either. After experiencing the events of yesterday morning, he became even more casual in front of Elena. As for the morning exercise that just ended, it can only be said that Doris, who has evolved into an ancient Great Spirit, has become even more seductive and alluring. Especially when her wings enveloped the two of them, the stimulation became even stronger. The battle last night also left Lin Yu somewhat unsatisfied. Under Elena's service, Lin Yu finished breakfast and then went straight to the first floor of the Hall of the Overlord. Elena followed behind him like an intimate little maid. "My lord." Elena, who was walking behind, suddenly spoke. Yesterday, while practicing in the spirit field, Angelia achieved bloodline evolution and has now advanced to the level of an 8-winged angel. In addition, Aida, Sally, and Josie. They have also evolved one after another, breaking through the bloodline constraints of 2-winged angels and becoming 4-winged angels. In terms of level, all three of them have reached the transcendent initial stage. Angelia has stepped into the transcendent late stage. Lin Yu stopped in his tracks. His expression was full of astonishment. What's going on? Either don't evolve at all, or evolve one after another. Lin Yu wasn't particularly surprised by the evolution of Aida and the others. At most, it was a pleasant surprise. After all, they were the first angels he summoned, and the first to enter the spirit field for training. Now that they have achieved bloodline evolution and become 4-winged angels, Lin Yu is naturally very happy. He even hopes that the three of them, as well as Vina, Helen, Irene, and other 2-winged angels, can grow to the level of 12-winged angels and lead a large-scale angel legion. This is also Lin Yu's expectation for this group of 2-winged angels who followed him earliest. What surprised Lin Yu was Angelia's evolution. When she was first summoned, Angelia was a 4-winged angel. Just 2 nights ago, she had just evolved into a 6-winged angel. And now, she has achieved bloodline evolution once again, leaping to become an 8-winged angel. This made Lin Yu feel incredibly incredulous. It seems that bloodline evolution is a very simple matter for Angelia. Just at this moment, an elegant and noble figure walked into the Hall of the Overlord. It was Angelia who had given Lin Yu a great surprise. The angel wings behind her had indeed turned into 4 pairs. However, her 4th pair of wings was not substantial white angel wings, but a pair of illusory light wings, intertwined among the other 3 pairs of angel wings. In other words, Angelia has 3 pairs of wings and 1 pair of light wings. Of course, this doesn't mean that Angelia's evolution has gone wrong. It's just that almost all angels are like this. As long as their position exceeds the limit of a 6-winged angel, the additional angel wings that appear behind them will become light wings, non-substantial. For example, the 12-winged angel. It consists of 3 pairs of substantial white angel wings, plus 3 pairs of dazzling flowing light feathers. Lin Yu looked at the noble and elegant Angelia and noticed that the 2 flowing light feathers behind her were larger than the other 3 pairs of angel wings, constantly radiating a sacred light. Under the backdrop of these flowing light feathers, Angelia became even more beautiful, elegant, and divine. "My lord." Approaching, Angelia respectfully bowed to Lin Yu. Her hands crossed and stacked on her full chest, and she slightly lowered her head when facing Lin Yu. Her attitude was as respectful as ever. Behind Lin Yu, Elena, who was a 6-winged seeker angel, also bowed to Angelia and respectfully called her Madam. This is a respectful title for high-ranking angels. If the difference in rank is too great, they would generally be addressed as Your Highness. For example, when a 6-winged angel faces a 12-winged angel, they would address them as Your Excellency to show their noble rank and status. Lin Yu smiled and raised his hand. After Angelia lifted her exquisite face, Lin Yu asked, Angelia, how did you do it? Besides the evolution blueprint, is there a shortcut for bloodline evolution? This was the thing he cared about the most. If there was a shortcut, Angelia could teach it to other angels. In that case, his more than 10,000 angels would be fortunate. Angelia respectfully replied, reporting to the Lord of Holy Light, there is a special substance in the space of the spirit field that can help living beings achieve bloodline evolution. The reason I was able to evolve temporarily is because I can sense this substance, and I can absorb it on my own, thus having more opportunities for evolution than other angels. Angelia was telling the truth. Lin Yu quickly asked, so, do you have a way to help other angels actively absorb this special substance? However, Angelia shook her head and said, I'm sorry, my lord, this is not allowed by the rules of the floating island. Only by becoming powerful enough to conquer the rules of this world can you help other angels in this regard. This was also the truth. It is indeed a pity. Lin Yu sighed and then said, does ruling the floating island mean conquering the rules of the world? Angelia said, the floating island and the rules of the world are not the same concept. You can think of the rules of the world as a living being that governs the floating island. If you find an opportunity to suppress it, it will obey you. It sounds like a very distant goal. Let's talk about it later. Lin Yu didn't think about it any further. Although it was a great pity that he couldn't help other angels evolve, it was still a happy thing that Angelia had this special ability of self-evolution, because he could imagine. With the help of this special ability, Angelia definitely had the potential to become a 12-winged angel in the future, and she might not even need the help of the unit evolution blueprint. It could be said that Angelia was a growing angel, worthy of more care. At this moment, Lin Yu glanced at Angelia's information panel. Her level had indeed skyrocketed to transcendent late stage. She was invincible. Lin Yu said, Angelia, with your strength, you should be able to contend with saint-rank powerhouses. Yes, my lord. Angelia said, I can slay a saint-rank being with a single sword. Her expression was very calm. She had a strong self-confidence. In her eyes, even a saint-rank powerhouse who mastered domain power was as weak as a small ant. She could crush them with a single press of her finger. Lin Yu listened happily. Secretarian didn't disappoint him, just as he had imagined. My lord. Angelia respectfully said to Lin Yu, I request to go out alone to hunt for the transcendent and saint-rank monsters hidden in the mountains. Granted. Lin Yu did not refuse. Angelia's strength far surpassed any angel in the territory. Even the fallen angel Gladys, who had reached the transcendent realm, was no match for her. Similarly, the ancient great elf Eudorus, who was also at the transcendent late stage, was no match for Angelia, who had already become an 8-winged angel. Now, Angelia was fully capable of acting alone. There was no need to follow the hunting team. Lin Yu asked, did anyone reach the transcendent realm during last night's battle? Elena, who was behind him, spoke up, reporting to my lord, Legion Commander Rain has reached the transcendent realm. Lin Yu nodded. Counting them, he already had 7 transcendents under his command. They were the 8-winged angel Angelia, the 6-winged angel of strength Irene, the 4-winged angel Haida, Sally, Josie, as well as the fallen angel Gladys and the ancient great elf Eudorus. Then let Rain and Aida form a hunting team with 2 other angels. His original plan was to have Angelia and Rain lead a group of king-level angels to form a hunting team to kill the transcendent monsters in the mountains. But now, the hunting team only needed Rain and 3 others. Angelia alone was like a sharp knife, and killing saint-rank monsters was not a problem. And because fallen angels could not coexist with holy angels, Gladys and Severia could only form a 2-person team to move freely. As for the ancient great elf Eudorus, she would continue to lead her Dark Elf Legion. Wise decision, my lord. Angelia naturally obeyed Lin Yu's words. Elena, the 6-winged seeker angel standing behind Lin Yu like a maid, pursed her lips as if hesitating to say something. Lin Yu understood what Elena was thinking. After considering it, he nodded and said, you will also join the hunting team, but you must quickly raise your level to the transcendent realm. Elena's level was king level late stage. She was not far from reaching the transcendent realm. After all, she had also killed a large number of undead creatures last night. If the experience bar total from king level late stage to transcendent initial stage was 1 million, then her experience points were already over 700,000. She would soon achieve a breakthrough in her realm. In addition, Rain and the other three were all war-type angels. They also needed a magic-type angel like Elena to provide assistance. Yes, my lord of holy light. Elena was overjoyed. Compared to leading an angel legion, what she wanted to do now was to raise her level. Aida, Sally, and Josie had lower ranks than her, but they had already reached the transcendent realm. And the ancient great elf lying on the bed had now reached the transcendent late stage. She was naturally anxious. Lin Yu said to Elena and Angelia, "Then you may go out separately, but remember to stay safe." "Yes, my lord." The two beautiful angels saluted respectfully. Then they left the hall of the Overlord and flew towards the distant sky with their wings fluttering. At this moment, the territory became empty again. The angel army of tens of thousands, the Dark Elf Legion, and the miscellaneous army of believers composed of local intelligent creatures such as goblins and forest trolls had all left the territory. Unless there were special circumstances, they would continue hunting until evening before returning to the territory. As for lunchtime, angels did not need to eat, and the other troops in the territory had already prepared dried meat. At worst, they could kill monsters in the wilderness and roast them to eat. In addition, there were many gifts from nature in the jungle. So there was no need to worry about the troops in the territory going hungry while fighting monsters in the wilderness. Lin Yu only needed to take care of the affairs of the territory. He didn't need to worry about anything else. Just as Lin Yu was counting last night's spoils, a beautiful figure walked down from the second floor. The seductive and enchanting figure is half hidden under a translucent black chiffon skirt, with a pair of butterfly-shaped wings emitting a faint golden light behind her. It is the ancient elf, Doris, who has just awakened from her sleep. Not going back to sleep? Lin Yu asks with a smile. No, my lord. Doris quickly shakes her head. She bites her red lips, seemingly thinking of something. A blush appears on her delicate and beautiful cheeks. The iconic pointed ears of the elf also turn pink. Before Lin Yu can speak, Doris quickly says, "My lord, I will also go out hunting, striving to upgrade to the saint rank as soon as possible." "Go ahead," Lin Yu nods. As a high elf with ambition, he naturally has no reason to refuse. After Doris leaves, Lin Yu continues to deal with last night's gains. First, there are the gold coins, totaling over 120,000. This is thanks to the massive increase in angels. In addition, there are tens of thousands of native race followers who have joined. The troops that participated in the battle last night exceeded 20,000, completely clearing the undead creatures within a radius of 10,000 meters. If it weren't for the slow monster respawn speed on the floating island, there would have been even more gold coins. Next are the equipment, totaling over 300 pieces. Angelia, a very thoughtful chief secretary, has already sorted the equipment for Lin Yu. They are arranged separately according to their level and quality. All Lin Yu needs to do is list them on the island trading platform. Lastly, there are blueprints and other items. There are over 70 blueprints, but most of them are ordinary. Lin Yu uses up all the wooden house blueprint and arrow tower blueprint and lists the remaining blueprints on the trading platform since they are of no use to him. In addition to the blueprints, there are over 10 light balls containing a large amount of souls, and 8 green packages containing spirit rice seeds. The soul orbs are food for the demon plant, everlasting flower, and are gifts from monsters and the undead legion in the wilderness, which can promote the growth of the everlasting flower. Lin Yu plans to feed the everlasting flower with them later. But before that, he needs to spend the gold coins he has obtained. Adding the gold coins I had left from yesterday, I now have over 127,800 gold coins. Lin Yu calculates. With this amount of gold coins, he can summon 4 fully equipped small angel legions, and still have over 15,800 gold coins left. Without hesitation, Lin Yu immediately opens the summoning black hole and summons the 4 small angel legions. With this, the scale of his angel army officially surpasses 10,000. The total number of angels reaches over 11,700. Praise you, great Lord of Holy Light. Countless angels gather in the Hall of the Overlord, bowing respectfully to Lin Yu. Their expressions are excited, their gazes filled with reverence, expressing their fanatical belief in Lin Yu and their infinite loyalty. Lin Yu nods. Leading these 4 angel legions are 4 six-winged angels, 3 angel of strength and 1 seeker angel. Following the principle of first come, first served, Lin Yu did not give them names. He wants to reserve the limited names in his notebook for the special angels summoned later, as well as the 8-winged angels. After all, the stock is limited, and it's first come, first served. Go out and hunt. Lin Yu says to the beautiful and holy angels before him, wherever and whenever, I will be with you. Praise you, the highest Lord. May the Holy Lord be eternal. The angels are all excited. Soon, with their anticipation for the future and their strong determination to fight the enemy, they leave the Hall of the Overlord like a torrent. Then, one by one, their angel wings behind them tremble. They rush towards the distant wilderness, watching the figures of angels flying towards the distant horizon. A faint smile appeared on Lin Yu's face. After this wave of summoning, he now had 23 fully equipped small angel legions under his command, which could be formed into 2 medium-sized angel legions. After the territory upgraded to town, he would be able to summon 2 8-winged angels at the same time. But most importantly, he could now harvest a large amount of gold every day. Whether it was hunting during the day or night, or selling equipment crafted by the blacksmith workshop, he could have a bountiful harvest and summon a large number of angels. Perhaps on the day when town was upgraded, he could summon multiple 8-winged angels at once. This was indeed something to be happy about. Passing through the territory square. In the southwest area of the territory, there were a large number of goblin followers, gray dwarf followers, and goblin followers, dissecting the corpses of wild monsters. Now, the amount of monster meat Lin Yu harvested every day was also a huge number, even though the number of his subjects had exceeded 30,000. In a short period of time, his territory would not face a shortage of food. In the eastern area, there was the sound of clanging, constantly ringing in the ears. That was the sound coming from the equipment furnace. On the roof of the blacksmith workshop, thick black smoke billowed out of the large chimney and rose into the sky, forming a huge gray cloud. It could be seen from a far distance. If any professional team noticed this abnormal gray cloud, they would undoubtedly guess that Lin Yu's territory was below it. Of course, even at this point, it was not easy for them to reach Lin Yu's territory, because in the area within 100 kilometers around Lin Yu's territory, there were many of Lin Yu's troops hunting. Only extremely lucky people could possibly pass through the cracks between those troops. In the northeast area of the territory, artisan Angel Coral, with 2,000 dark elves, was busy building the City of Angels. Yesterday, the foundation of the City of Angels had been laid. Today's task was to build the 500-meter-high city wall of the City of Angels. The main construction of the City of Angels was not difficult or complicated. As long as various materials were placed into the plates outlined by golden threads, those materials would decompose and recombine into solid bricks, one connected to another. In 2 or 3 days at most, the main structure of the City of Angels could be completed. The remaining task of engraving the angel divine runes was the most complex. It not only consumed energy but also time. Those dark elf assistants knew nothing about the divine patterns of the angel race. Moreover, they did not possess the power of holiness and light, so even if Coral taught them, they couldn't engrave them. This task could only be done by artisan Angel Coral alone. It was also for this reason that Coral had said before that if there were multiple artisan angels cooperating, it would not take 10 days to build such a small-scale city of angels. As usual, Lin Yu did not disturb Coral. He walked straight out of the territory and came to the spirit field area. Then he communicated with the myriad worlds floating island to upgrade the spirit field. The spirit field was now at level 4. To upgrade to level 5, it would require 10,000 gold coins. When Lin Yu summoned the 4 angel legions just now, he had more than 10,000 gold coins left unused, specifically for upgrading the spirit field. Judging from the evolution of Aida, Sally, and Josie, it was very necessary to upgrade the level of the spirit field, especially as the number of angels under Lin Yu's command increased. Upgrading the spirit field would allow more angels to achieve bloodline evolution. Of course, there were also the Dark Elves. After the nighttime hunting, the Dark Elves in the territory would also practice in the spirit field, along with the angels. This was approved by Lin Yu. Under Lin Yu's gaze, the spirit field began to tremble. A brilliant light enveloped the spirit field. It wasn't until several minutes later that the light with mysterious power gradually dissipated. Upgrade successful. From the outside, the spirit field showed no changes. It was still 100 meters long and wide. The space inside the spirit field was still boundless and limitless. The difference was that after the upgrade, the air in the spirit field became fresher and sweeter, giving a feeling of floating and ethereal with just one breath. Spirit field. Level 5. Special attribute: crop, pet, growth time reduced by 50%, yield increased by double, mutation probability is 12%. Upgrade requirement: 30,000 gold coins. Note: the spirit field of level 5 can only cultivate grains of level 1 to level 5. The probability of mutation and evolution in the level 5 spirit field has increased to 12%. It's not considered low. A 12% probability of mutation is a very general concept. It does not mean that out of 100 angels, 12 of them will definitely achieve bloodline evolution. To evolve, one still needs to spend a long time practicing in the spirit field. The longer the practice, the more evolutionary substances will integrate into the angel's body. And when the accumulated evolutionary substances reach a certain level, the angel will find an opportunity for evolution, and the probability of successful evolution is 12%. Before reaching this certain level, the probability of evolution is almost zero. That's why, although Lin Yu has so many angels under his command, only Aida, Sally, and Josie were able to achieve bloodline evolution with the help of the spirit field last night. Of course, Angelia is not included. Because she can actively absorb evolutionary substances, she is a bug herself. My angels practice in the spirit field every night. They will gradually accumulate evolutionary substances. I believe that soon, there will be a continuous stream of angels successfully achieving bloodline evolution. Although the success rate of 12% is not high, I have a large base. He now has over 10,000 angels. When they each find an opportunity for evolution, he doesn't believe that only a few will succeed. If he's lucky, it's not impossible for hundreds of evolved angels to appear. In front of Lin Yu is a large field planted with spirit rice. Some spirit rice is still lush green, while others have turned golden. These are the first batch of spirit rice that Lin Yu planted, which can be harvested tomorrow. Lin Yu opened the 8 green packages he brought and obtained a total of 80 portions of spirit rice seeds. Planting 10 portions of spirit rice seeds can yield 10,000 units of spirit rice. With the amplification of the spirit field double yield, it becomes 20,000 units. In other words, by planting these 80 portions of spirit rice seeds, it will only take 3.5 days for him to harvest 160,000 units of spirit rice. Adding the previously planted ones, the total harvest of spirit rice will be even more. It will exceed 300,000 units. Lin Yu looked at the golden rice in front of him and suddenly grinned. When tomorrow comes, I will be able to eat rice. It has to be said that this is something that makes people both happy and helpless. The mighty overlord profession, the renowned Lin Yu, is actually in a good mood because he can eat rice. It's hard to believe. But the problem is, this is the reality. Since his arrival until now, for so many days, Lin Yu has been eating only beast meat. 3 meals a day. Although Elena's cooking skills have improved, he still feels a bit tired of it. If the combat professionals were to find out, they would definitely attack Lin Yu. Survival is already a problem for them. not to mention having angels serving them 3 meals a day. For them, such a life only exists in the dream world of the night. Over here, Lin Yu came to an area where everlasting flowers and black-bone blood vines were planted. The black-bone blood vine has grown to over 8 meters tall. One main trunk, countless thin branches resembling tentacles. It doesn't look like a vine-type demonic plant at all. It looks more like a tall demonic tree. In comparison, the everlasting flower nearby, which is only a little over 1 meter tall, looks like a weed. However, in terms of the energy fluctuations emitted, the black-bone blood vine is far inferior to the everlasting flower. In front of the everlasting flower, it is still just a little brother. Lin Yu fed the dozen or so soul spheres he brought to the everlasting flower. After gobbling them up, the everlasting flower's size quickly grew. In the blink of an eye, it grew to over 3 meters tall. The remaining growth time is less than 20 days. This is quite impressive. On the other hand, the black-bone blood vine, which has been eating from morning till night, still has about 30 days of growth time. This is because its food quality is not high. However, Lin Yu doesn't really mind. Out with the old, in with the new. His main focus now is on the everlasting flower. When the growth period ends, it will be able to leap into a peak saint-rank demonic plant. At that time, if Lin Yu signs a magic contract with it and integrates it into his body, his combat power will skyrocket, and defeating ordinary saint-rank experts will be no problem at all. Lin Yu did not stay long. After a brief interspecies communication with Everlasting Flower, he left Spirit Field. But what Lin Yu didn't know was that, after he left, 2 demonic plants also engaged in spiritual communication. First was Everlasting Flower, mockingly taunting Black-bone Blood Vine. "Little Vine's sister, do you see? Although you arrived early, our master still prefers me, the older sister. You have been abandoned by our master. That's impossible. Our master still likes me, they just forgot to talk to me today." Black-bone Blood Vine angrily retorted to Everlasting Flower. Everlasting Flower shook its big head and giggled. "Don't deceive yourself. As demonic plants, we must also learn to accept reality. In the future, I will follow our master to the myriad worlds battlefield, and you can only stay in this world to guard the gate for our master." Oh wait, you, a small king-level demonic plant, might not even have the qualification to guard the gate. You are despicable. Black-bone Blood Vine waved countless branches, like a towering tree demon filled with rage. Just as it was about to lash out at Everlasting Flower, Everlasting Flower suddenly swelled up, growing to tens of meters tall in the blink of an eye. It grinned at Black-bone Blood Vine, resembling a supersized carnivorous flower, and mockingly said, "Little Vine's sister, do you dare disrespect your older sister? Be careful, your older sister might just swallow you whole." Black-bone Blood Vine trembled all over. Its extended branches also stiffened in fear. Everlasting Flower proudly chuckled and returned to its original height of over 3 meters. In the transcendent world, the weak must accept their fate. Resistance and unwillingness will only lead to a quicker death. Black-bone Blood Vine fell silent. It was unwilling. It was the master's first demonic plant and had received their strong cultivation. It would never accept being abandoned by the master. Gradually, a strong blood light emanated from the roots of Black-bone Blood Vine, quickly spreading to its trunk and finally enveloping all its branches and leaves. Ooh! Everlasting Flower's round face surrounded by petals froze in expression. By stimulating it like this, will Little Vine's sister evolve? Demonic plants do not have genders, but they can decide their own gender for future transformations. Similar to demonic beasts, when demonic plants reach the demigod realm and master the power of laws, they can also transform into human forms. The angels and elves under Lin Yu's command were all beautiful female creatures. So, Everlasting Flower and Black-bone Blood Vine coincidentally decided that if they had the opportunity to ascend to demigod in the future, they would also transform into female forms. To avoid being subjected to the master's gender discrimination. It's unclear how much time passed. The dense blood light finally dissipated from Black-bone Blood Vine. Its appearance didn't change much, but the magical fluctuations emanating from it became even stronger. It had evolved. Blackbone Bloodvine danced with excitement. At this moment, Everlasting Flower spoke again, taunting, "What are you so happy about? Even if you evolve, you're still just a transcendent demonic plant. Whereas I, Flower Sister, am at the peak of the saint rank." Before finishing the sentence, Blackbone Bloodvine went berserk again, with bloodlight surging. Seeing this, Everlasting Flower was instantly startled and shouted, "Don't get excited. Stay calm. I was just teasing you." After much persuasion, Blackbone Bloodvine finally calmed down. Everlasting Flower dared not provoke it anymore. The battle in Spirit Field was happening, but Lin Yu had no knowledge of it. At this moment, he was practicing high-level magic, Dragon Fire, in the square of his territory. Above, there were obvious fire clouds gathering. Those were the fire elemental magic powers being attracted. Below, there was a flame dragon that stretched for tens of meters, hovering and wandering under Lin Yu's mental control, emitting powerful energy fluctuations. Dragon Fire was an AoE skill. With one move, its attack range covered 100 meters in all directions. At this stage, there was absolutely no professional who could withstand Lin Yu's move. Not bad. Lin Yu smiled. He really liked the feeling of mastering such powerful strength. No matter how strong an angel was, it was ultimately an external force. Only one's own strength was fundamental. If I have the chance, I can learn more high-level skills, such as forbidden-level elemental magic. Overlord professionals were different from other combat professionals. Combat professionals could only learn skills that matched their own profession. But Overlord professionals could learn any skill, including elemental magic from mages, combat techniques from knights, stealth techniques from assassins, and so on. It wasn't until half of his magical power was consumed that Lin Yu stopped. He took a linen towel handed to him by a dark elf and wiped the sweat off his forehead. Then he returned to the Hall of the Overlord. The 300-plus pieces of equipment and a dozen blueprints sold in the morning had all been sold. The total earnings were over 140,000 gold coins. Compared to the equipment produced by the blacksmith shop, the equipment obtained through hunting had a higher average level and higher prices. With the help of this sum of money, Lin Yu summoned 5 small-scale angel legions again. The total cost of gold coins spent, not too much or too little, exactly 140,000. What made Lin Yu a little regretful was that among the 5 six-winged angels summoned this time, there were still no special angels or fallen angels, but there was one 6-winged dominion angel. As usual, Lin Yu didn't bring out his little notebook for naming. After giving them some simple encouragement, he dispatched these 5 reorganized angel legions. With this, the number of small-scale angel legions under his command reached 28. He had a total of over 14,000 angels. This was a very astonishing increase. Since the blacksmith shop reached the middle level and sold over 1,000 pieces of equipment at once, the number of angels under Lin Yu's command had skyrocketed. The speed at which the snowball rolled exceeded Lin Yu's imagination. But this was just the beginning. At the same time, in the wilderness, fully equipped angel legions dispersed into the jungle within a radius of 100 kilometers. Their mission today was still to eliminate the local forces' strongholds in the jungle. This mission was urgent, because other Overlord professionals were also growing. When they grew to the point where they could capture local force strongholds, they would start competing with Lin Yu for these resources. Unlike the countless wilderness monsters, there were not many local force strongholds, and capturing one meant one less. Once captured by someone else, Lin Yu would relatively lose a portion of glory points and reputation points. People are selfish. Especially for glory points, a limited and precious resource, it must be held as much as possible. If he wanted to exchange for higher quality divine weapons, Lin Yu naturally had to take the initiative. Pamela, my lady. Below is a stronghold of a local force that is not weak, ruled by the Forest Troll clan. In this tribal stronghold, there are approximately 7,000 forest trolls. Among them, the most powerful troll, the giant demon race, possesses the level of king level late stage. Looking around, between the mountains, there is a very large troll tribe situated. Its scale is second only to the double-headed demon tribe that was captured by the Angel Legion yesterday morning. The tribe's buildings are mostly made of large blue stones from the mountains, giving a very primitive and wild feeling. Inside the tribe, a large number of forest trolls can be seen. All of them are fully armed, holding various giant weapons. Each forest troll has a size of about 4 meters, more burly and strong than the double-headed demons, just like the giants in legends. In fact, the bloodline flowing in the troll race is indeed similar to that of the giants. Like the giants, they are both descendants of the ancient titans, due to the excessively long years they have experienced. The trolls and giants have embarked on different paths of evolution. They have even become different races. But if we trace back to the origin, trolls and giants are both descendants of the titans. Therefore, they also regard the titans as ancestors and believe in the great and supreme true God, the titan. At this moment, the forest troll tribe has already sounded the horn of war. Inside the tribe, all the forest trolls have armed themselves and are vigilantly watching the Angel Legion, standing hundreds of meters high in the sky. The commander of this Angel Legion is six-winged Dominion Angel Pamela. A four-winged Grand Angel respectfully said to Pamela, "In the nearby jungle, there are several small local forest strongholds, all composed of forest trolls. Obviously, this area is the territory ruled by the forest troll race. Other intelligent races around dare not set foot here. However, there are always exceptions, just like Lin Yu's angels who broke in, and they invaded directly, without any concealment. The total number of forest trolls in these tribes is over 10,000. If we can convert them all into believers, I believe our Lord will be very pleased." "Wise decision, my lady," the four-winged Grand Angel complimented. Then, she hesitated and said, "Pamela, with the strength of our legion, it may be difficult to conquer these several forest troll tribes at the same time. During the conquest, there will definitely be a part of the forest trolls who will escape. Don't worry, I have a solution." Six-winged Dominion Angel Pamela waved her hand. Then she waved the divine staff in her hand and poured out a brilliant holy light into the void. The Lord said, "Firm faith can break through the boundaries of time and space," accompanied by Pamela's extremely devout prayers. That brilliant holy light actually condensed into a huge gate. The gate reached a height of 50 meters, adorned with countless mysterious angelic runes. The next moment, the gate opened. Countless angels flew out from behind the gate. It was a fully equipped small-scale angel legion. The commander of the legion was Caroline, the angel of retribution. She held a sword as large as a shield, known as the angelic sword, and took a look at the massive forest troll tribe below, instantly understanding Pamela's purpose for summoning her. Then, six-winged Dominion Angel Pamela opened the gate of holy light once again, and summoned two more fully equipped small-scale angel legions. At this point, there are 4 angel legions in this area, 4 six-winged angels, and over 2,000 angels of various ranks. This divine technique is one of the 3 core divine techniques of the six-winged Dominion Angel, called Gate of Holy Light, which can teleport friendly units in both directions. Shall we charge straight in? Angel of Retribution Caroline turned her gaze towards six-winged Dominion Angel Pamela. She looked excited, as if she couldn't wait. However, Pamela shook her head and said, "Wait a moment, there's something else I need to do." As she spoke, she once again opened the gate of holy light. But this time, what flew out of the gate was not an angel, but a horn over a meter long, the horn of a forest troll. Special Effect 1. Summon Troll. Pamela held the horn in both hands, raised it high, and then blew the horn. Woo woo woo. The sound of the horn was deep and lingering, as if it could penetrate the soul. Soon, the sound of the horn spread to an area of tens of thousands of meters. In the nearby forests, several forest troll tribes went into a frenzy when they heard the horn, and all the forest trolls in the tribes picked up their weapons and roared as they converged towards the direction of the Angel Legion. Each of them seemed to be infused with energy. But judging from their expressions, it was clear that they were not angry, but extremely excited. as if they had received the call of a legendary mother troll. However, the forest trolls in the lower tribes were truly angry, because they knew that the person blowing the horn was from a different race, and the members of a different race were not worthy of blowing the horn of the forest trolls. The forest trolls in the tribe, numbering in the thousands, were all filled with rage. At the same time, their combat power also increased layer by layer. This is the second special effect of the horn of the forest troll, War Inspiration. It can enhance the combat power of the forest trolls. Just like the special note on the Myriad Worlds floating island, if the horn of the forest troll is blown by someone from a different race, the forest trolls that may be summoned may be torn to pieces. Of course, this is not something the Angel Legion needs to worry about. The purpose of six-winged Dominion Angel V. Pamela using the horn of the forest troll is to wipe out all the forest trolls in this area. After all, there are so many troll tribes. If they were to be dealt with one by one, wouldn't it be a waste of time? Half an hour later, more than 10,000 forest trolls had already gathered in the lower tribes. And those summoned forest trolls, upon realizing that the summoner was not their own kind, all turned from excitement to rage. Tens of thousands of angry gazes locked onto the four angel legions standing tall in the sky. At that moment, the fighting spirit, killing intent, and anger within the troll tribes surged to the extreme. The plan is successful. We can attack now, Pamela said to Angel of Retribution A. Caroline, and the other two six-winged angels who were summoned. The army will charge in first, crush the will of those forest trolls, and then four-winged Grand Angel will take action to purify their evil souls. Good. The three six-winged angels agreed. Immediately, the four angel legions launched their attack together. The holy angels, majestic and righteous, charged into the troll tribes from four directions. Along the way, countless large arrows were shot at them. There were also a large number of magic attacks. But these attack methods were unable to stop the advance of the angel legions, and they were all shattered by the powerful angels. You lowly creatures of the lower realm, accept the judgment of divine power. Angel of Retribution, A. Caroline was the most valiant. She was the first to charge into the troll tribe, roaring as she unleashed the angelic martial skill, Light of the Holy Sword. A rain of swords fell. Instantly, hundreds of forest trolls died or were injured. Following behind her, Petra once again waved her divine staff and released one of the three core divine arts of the six-winged Dominion Angel, War Shackles. The War Shackles sealed off a battlefield area. It looked like a huge magical shield. At this moment, it covered the entire troll tribe. As long as the shield wasn't broken, not a single one of the more than 10,000 forest trolls in the tribe could escape. And at the same time, in a forest several hundred meters away, a group of professionals appeared.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.